You've heard it all before. Don't drink coffee after 2 p.m. Put your phones away before bed. Stick to a consistent schedule. All of these things. You maybe know what it is that you're supposed to be doing in order to sleep well and have good sleep practices. But the reality of it is you're a parent. And as a result, in many ways, life can just be a little chaotic sometimes. And this is the thing that doesn't get taken into account when people are talking about kind of sleep tips. And the typical sleep advice that is a lot of times kind of given out is that, while great advice, don't get me wrong, it's excellent advice. And it's the thing where, a lot of times we do need to start with it. And I preach it with the people that I work with, and that's kind of where we start a lot of times as well, is looking at sleep hygiene, looking at the routines and the sleep practices and all of those kind of things that go into good quality sleep. But the thing is those things, they don't take into some of the struggles that we as parents can kind of come up with when it comes to trying to actually sleep well. It doesn't take into the unpredictable nature of what our schedules are going to look like. There maybe, from one day to the next, from 1 week to the next can be completely different. And some of those general sleep advice, while good, doesn't take that into account. It doesn't take into account the fact that, maybe you've got your child is waking you up multiple times throughout the night to just simply go to the bathroom, or because they woke up and want to be covered back up in bed. Yeah, you know what I mean. And to a large extent, some of those practices, the advice out there, it doesn't take into just the kind of the mental and emotional load that we carry all the time. And so while that typical advice is really good and really practical and in many ways is very effective, it's not always as effective as it could be, or as applicable to some of us who are in the thick of kind of parenting and everything. And so it's kind of what I want to address a little bit and kind of touch on a little bit, because I want you to know that you're not alone when you have tried these things and you've not been able to see any progress from it, because things are a little bit different, and we have to adjust the way that we are approaching things when it comes to trying to get better sleep in general. And so, the reasons why these things kind of largely fail for us as parents is because it's not that we're just simply tired. If we're just simply tired and we can look and see that we don't have good sleep habits, then we can address that and it fixes the problem and moves on. And sometimes this is the case. I've had this myself, with working with people where we take a look and we see that, okay, you just have some poor sleep habits. We need to correct these things, and things will start to get better. And sometimes that is the case. And when that's the case, that's great, because it's a simple thing. We make these changes and it's smooth sailing from there. That's great, but it doesn't always work out that way. Again, as parents, we're not just tired. And so that is the easy solution may not necessarily be there. What we're also dealing with and what we're also struggling with is just a complete overload, whether we're talking about kind of our mental and emotional overload that we're really kind of dealing with because of everything that we're trying to juggle. And so that's what we need to be able to address then. That's what we need to work on. And so the ways that we do this is we work on, kind of focusing on the nervous system, looking to find ways to calm ourselves down for the evening. This is, a part of the kind of that sleep hygiene piece a little bit and everything. But as parents, I think a lot of times we need to spend a little bit extra focus on it, because it's something that we can be at a little bit of more of a heightened state just because we're constantly in chaos. And so we need to make sure that we are kind of addressing that, as well as the fact that the routine's not going to be flexible. And, in an ideal world, you're going to bed at 10 o'clock every single night and you're waking up at 6 o'clock every single morning. That's ideal. When we talk about, having a strict schedule, that's where, that's the kind of the point that even when I'm working with somebody, that we aim for is like, okay, let's just be consistent from one day to the next, where you're waking up at the same time, you're going to bed at the same time. But as parents, this isn't always doable, because there again, like I said, maybe you've got kid is waking up or just not going to sleep, or they had a nap for the day and they probably shouldn't have, and now you're paying for it because they're up, an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours later than what they really should be. And so then it pushes your bedtime back. There's all kinds of things that can kind of come into play there that just become completely disruptive to our own schedules. And so we have to make sure that we are being flexible with what our routine is going to look like. And so with that being the case, we have to utilize some different tools in order to be able to wind down at the end of the night, in order to be able to get some good quality sleep. And so this is what I tried to, address, and what I'm trying to, kind of convey in a lot of these videos and everything, and be able to help you kind of build a plan for yourself so that you can work yourself on fixing your own sleep and get to a better place. Because I honestly feel like, the big reason why I do all of this is just simply because I think in general, if we as parents are sleeping better, then it allows us to have the opportunity to be better parents. It allows us the opportunity to be a better spouse, to be just a better version of ourselves, and show up in the ways that we really want to. Where if we are constantly struggling with sleep, and we're in a constant a constant place of sleep deprivation, if I can get the words out of my mouth, then we're never able to really be who it is that we're wanting to be. We're not able to be the quality of parent that we want to be, because we're constantly drained. We don't have the energy, we don't have the mental capacity to be the parent that we want to be. And so my goal with this is to be able to help you get to that point where you're feeling better, and so you can be that parent that you're wanting to be. You can be the spouse that you're wanting to be, and not constantly be kind of running yourself into the ground. Because the honest truth is that, we're not going to be able to go much of anywhere if we are running ourselves into the ground, constantly trying to just get by. Because the reality of it is a lot of us, we just kind of get in survival mode sometimes, because again, life is chaotic. So if you've made it this far into the video, thank you for watching. I hope that you are able to get something out of these videos, and I hope that I'm able to kind of, have a little bit of an impact and be able to, help you on this journey as you're trying to kind of correct your own sleep problems and the sleep issues that you may be struggling with. So any questions or anything that you have, hit me up either in the comments, or you can, visit my website and reach out to me, or join my Facebook page and everything. If I remember, I will get the links to it all below. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.